Some will cower in their fighting holes or sleeping bags, unable to fight no matter the circumstances. Others will have the will to fight, but find themselves physically exhausted and unable to move to fire a weapon. Yeah, and people just accept it. I was watching a thing about Everest the other day, and it's just at a certain point, people are like, "Yeah, I'm not going anymore." Well, then you're going to die, and they're like, "Well, I guess I'm going to die then."
Yeah.
I mean, they might not say that. But when someone is saying, "Hey, I'm going to leave you here unless you get up and start walking," and they're like, "Go ahead."
Right.
They're just accepting death.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's quite the same as fight or flight or freeze, but that's more like will. Just their will is broken.
Right. Like they'd rather, like death is like a relief of some existing torment or something like this. Yeah, the freeze feels like it's like your brain kind of, on a certain level kind of shuts down because it doesn't know what option to pick. Like, like the front part, I guess the front part of your brain is like, okay, logically, since this is coming from here, I'm going to come from here, go from here. And since I see other stuff over here, I'm going to not go, it has this like decision making like sequence, but when it kind of short circuits because it's like too much to process or whatever, it's like, well, it's like almost like a flash of you have zero options. Therefore you act on all available, which is none.
Which is just locked up.
Yeah.
Locked up.
Yeah. That's what it feels like, though.
And then it gets into the source of courage. Any of these reactions may be temporary, lasting only as long as the danger is present, or the reaction may incapacitate a man indefinitely. However, fear can also be a source of courage. The fear of letting his comrades down is common in men who are about to enter battle for the first time, particularly in cohesively tightly knit units. Marshall noted the following in Men Against Fire. When fire sweeps the field, nothing keeps a man from running except the sense of honor, the bound obligation to the people right around him, of fear of failure in their sight, which might eternally disgrace him. So that's what's keeping you there. Is I don't want to look bad in front of my friends. As Tony Efrati once said, I'd rather die. He was like horrified of heights, and he had to, remember that? He had to freaking rappel off some giant building in Hong Kong, and he was just scared, and like no part of his humanity wanted to go. Yep. But he definitely didn't want to look weak, and so he just overcame the most primordial fear. But he just doesn't care. It's like better to die. And I would 100% relate to that. Yeah, like I'd rather just die than go out looking like a. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do.
I got asked that question on a podcast with Chris Williamson the other day. It was like, overcoming fear, and I said go.
Yeah.
Very. And I think that's something that you learn. You learn. In the military, at least for sure, that waiting is not going to help you. Your fear is not going to dissipate. Yeah. It's going to get worse. Yeah. I was skiing.
Hell yeah.
And it was like springtime. Things were getting pretty thin. And there was like a legit little
hesitation.
No. It was a legit, like, this is going to take some courage. Yeah. I hate to use that word when I'm talking about skiing.
Hell yeah.
But it was like potential danger, right? Yeah. Potential injury, right? Rocks, snow, ice, steepness.
That's true.
But I'm standing there, and in my head, I was just like, yep, I'm going. Like, blah, 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 blah. Like, oh, you think it's about, like conversations are happening, and I'm just like, go. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You just learn that you just got to go.
Let's go. Yeah. Yep. That's real. My daughter did that when we were skiing.
Mm-hmm. And is she skiing or snowboarding?
She was skiing. I was snowboarding.
By the way, I got a snowboard for you.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
My boys got Cardiff snowboards.
Okay.
So I got one for you. It's coming.
Man, thanks, bro. I'm fired up about that. But yeah, so
he was like, he said, Echo's really into snowboarding, right? I was like, hey, really is a strong word, but would he like probably to have a Cardiff snowboard? Most likely.
Hell yeah. They're freaking down for the cause, I'll tell you that.
Yeah. Okay, so your daughter.
Yeah, we were on the top of the mountain. I'm like, at this point I was like, I wasn't brand new, but I was like kind of new. But I'm with her, so you know how like At this point, what is she? Maybe like 9 years old, maybe, I don't know, 10. So I'm thinking, like, that's what I'm worried about. Like, I don't need this girl freaking charging this freaking hill and then hurting herself. And I'm responsible, you know? And I'm like relatively new. I'm not like some pro snowboarder where I can just freaking mosey down. No, I got this, you know, kind of a thing. So there's an element of nervousness. And she was scared. I don't know if she was scared or not, but we were hesitant up there. So I'm like, okay, wait, like if she falls down, maybe I can go over there and kind of, you know. So I'm making this plan. She's like, so she's looking at it, not saying nothing, looking at it. She's like, I'm going. Yeah. And she just goes. So I was like, oh, I feel like the control. But then I was like, I feel like she just charged. Yeah. She was like, bro, I'm tired of just standing up here and like waiting, you know, for the unknown to like overcome me, you know?
Yeah. I always have felt in combat for sure, like being aggressive and having an aggressive mindset is safer than being scared and being passive.
Yeah.
Same thing with jiu-jitsu. Like if you show up at jiu-jitsu and you feel like, we're doing stand-up and you're feeling like lackadaisical, or you're feeling like, yeah, I don't know if I want to do stand-up today. I don't want to get hurt. If you're doing stand-up, freaking get it on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Get it on. Yeah. Don't be like weak like that.
Yeah.
You know, speaking of fear and overcoming fear, I put this together the other day, which was pretty wild. So I was actually at the council and we were talking, you know, we cover every subject at the council and we get like granular, but you know, they ask questions about all different aspects of life, including family. And one of the individuals was asking, you know, had like an incident with his daughter who was 9 years old, and he didn't like the outcome of the incident. It was nothing. But the first thing I relayed to him was the story that you and I have discussed, which is like, hey, your son is 5.
Yeah.
And then I went to the fact that, and I just said, these things that your kids do at a young age, it has almost zero impact on the trajectory of their life. And the example that I ended up really nailing was Rana, my daughter, when she was probably 8 years old or something. She was so horrified to compete in a jiu-jitsu tournament that she like got dizzy, got pale, was like sick and fell down and like couldn't compete. She was so horrified of competing. And what made me think of this example was like, she just competed the other day and looked like she was going to a party. Like she was having so much fun, smiling and dancing and like just loving life. And it's my point in saying that is if you've got kids and you think that this one little tiny data point on their personality, you think it's like the beginning of the end.
Yeah.
When in fact it probably has almost zero impact. Yeah. Almost zero impact. Yeah. Like it's got to be like a 0.000001, and maybe the impact it'll have is like push them in the other direction.
Yeah.
You know, maybe Rana at some point was like, well, I'm going to get more, you know, I'm going to become more confident or something like that. But if you can't freak out when your kids are little. Now listen, if your kid has some pattern, some negative pattern for months at a time, then it's like, okay, you know, maybe I need to help them out. But a lot of it is just like, whatever, dude. Like it's just a little kid doing a little random thing. Yeah. You can't put a bunch of money on that.
Yeah, I learned a lot from that day. And you know, as time goes on, you start to recognize that kind of sequence of things. So it's almost like, you know, also another expression that you said, it's like, it's a data point, right? So it's like, yeah, it's a data point, but it's kind of even less. I mean, it's a data point at the end of the day, but it's just one single unit at a certain time too. Things change, man. It's like, you know how like the idea of late bloomers, physically, I mean, you know, the late bloomers can apply to a lot of stuff, I understand, but physically, you know, people, they have their growth spurt like in their late teens or their 20s sometime. So that's like saying, oh, wait, he's like the second shortest kid in his kindergarten class. Therefore, he's going to be, you know, like he's not going to grow that much or something like this. It's like the same like evaluation process, you know? Oh, yeah. It's like one data point at a very specific point in time. Yeah, exactly right.